Hi everyone, this is Rachel. Welcome back to my web series Dating While Gray. This is episode 6, and this is the Youngun, Miss Rosa's boy. So, I'm up to the sixth one, and I will tell you how I met him. So let's get started. Around this time, I had started going out. I met a group of girlfriends, as I mentioned in the last episode, and I had started kind of going out to clubs every now and then on the weekend, hanging out with my girlfriends a little bit more. So, this one particular time, one of my girlfriends asked me, did I want to go to this hotel that had like a little nightclub in the hotel? So I said yes. It was my girlfriends. We're going to have fun. And, and I noticed that after she asked me, she kind of like giggled. And so then I said, okay, what is it? And then she said that there's a little catch to it. And I said, because, I'm in a new city now. These are new friends. These are not the girls that like I grew up with in Cleveland. And, I don't really know these broads like that. So I'm like, is it a swingers club or something? Like what is going on now? This is what I'm thinking. So she says, no, it's a BBW club. So at the time, I didn't really know what a BBW club was. And then she said it's a big, big, beautiful women club. I think that's what it stands for. So I said, well, okay. And then, she explained to me that it was a club that on, I think it was Saturday nights, I don't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, that they would cater to the plus size woman. And it was just, 200 pounds and over, I guess. I didn't know at the time. So I said, what the hell? Okay, I'll go. It's no biggie. And so she was telling me, oh, Rachel, they have, all these appetizers and the drinks are really cheap and blah, blah, blah. So, I was like, okay, I need some club in my life. I'll go out with them. So we get there and I go in and, it is definitely big, beautiful women there. These women were 300, 400, 500 pounds. And I don't know what I expected, when I went there, but there were some good looking brothers there. I was like, okay, I might need to eat a little bit more. So we go in, we get us a table, and, the first, little while we're there, we're getting our little sip on and just enjoying the music and getting the lay of the land. So, my friend that asked me to go was the first up to, a guy comes up to the table, asks her to dance, and then she goes off. And then my girl Celeste, she's now living in the city that I live in now, and she's up next. I'm still sitting at the table with two others. They peter off. So I'm there at the table watching the purses and the coats. So I said, no problem. I'm sipping my drink. I think I'm cute as they are. And I sit there. I sit there through the next 3 songs, the next 4 songs. And so I was like, okay, well, alrighty then. So around this time, my friend comes up and we can't get a waitress's attention. So she says, come on, go up to the bar with me. So I go up to the bar. All the while I'm walking through the club, I'm like saying, it is some good looking men in here. Oh shit. I said, I guess let me move around so I can kind of be seen, Maybe I'm tucked away, and I'm trying to put it delicately, but my friends that I was out with some heavy hitters. So maybe because I'm sitting on the inside of the booth, maybe I need to let one of these bras switch places with me so when a man walk by, they can at least see my little ass. Because remember, I'm only standing at the time Maybe, well, I'm 4'11", and at the time I probably was weighing about 135 pounds. A little healthy for my height. I got a little meat on me. So we saunter on back. We making eyes at guys as we walking through, and even on the way back, I was like, oh my goodness, it is some good looking men in here. I was like, smorgasbord, smorgasbord. I get back to the table. I tell my friend, I said, you know what? I don't want to sit up against the wall. Let me sit on the outside because I'm thinking surely by now I'm going to have a dance. So we sit there and sip our little new drinks, and I'm asked to stand up and, hey, can you tell your friend I want to dance with her? So I let her out. And then, it's three of us sitting on one side, three of us sitting on the other. By the time I scoot over, the ones on my side are gone, and then I got, my friends sitting across from me, and they get up and leave. So again, I'm sitting there watching the purses and the coats. So I said, ain't this about a bitch? I done went to the club with these beefy bras, and I am not getting a dance. Now we're like 2 hours in. I have not got up out the seat other than to walk to the bar. So by now, these bitches that I done went out with have come back, and they done latched on to their man of the evening. So they tell me, scoot over, Rachel, let him slide in. I'm like, what? Oh, no, this, okay. So then one of my friends, she was like, girl, now she's sitting at the table now with a man. Well, the guy's not sitting down, he's standing up, and we are all in the booth. But she gives me her money and tells me to go fetch her a drink. So I was like, you know what? This is some bullshit here. I done wasted a good outfit, and I ain't, fuck this. I'm going home. I said, I am going home. So I go back to the table, take her drink, and I pull my friend aside, and I said, you know what? I'm going home. Um, and and she was like, oh, why are you leaving? And I said, girl, look, I've been here going on 3 hours now, and I have not even got so much as a backward glance. And she was like, well, how we told you this was the big, the BBW club. So I was like, well, I just thought that, they would dance with anyone that's of the female origin. And she was like, well, see, when we come to your clubs, this is how we feel. So I'm sitting there like, well, I'm not trying to start an argument. I just want to dance. So by this time, she getting all huffy. She tells me, well, let me get back to my date, this guy that she met there. So by this time, I go back, I'm at the table, and I'm just looking at the lay of the land. I said, you know what, let me get my coat because I am leaving. Now, what they had done is they had gone to this club that was on my side of town, and mostly because I was new to the city and I didn't know my way around, and they used to always joke that I would get lost. So I wasn't that far from home, probably about 5 or 10 minutes away. So I get my coat, and then, once you get your coat in your purse, you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't leave. So I go kind of stand by the bar a little bit. Now I still got my coat and purse because I want them to think that I'm leaving, because they basically done ditched me now because they have found men and I'm by myself. So I stand there about 20 minutes. The line dance song came on. I try to go to the edge of the dance floor because I don't know the dance. I ain't been out in 18 years. So I'm standing there, trying to shake it up a little bit. Maybe if they see me shaking it up, I get a dance. Still no dance. I said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going home. This ain't even worth it. So as I'm on my way out, this guy grabs my arm, and he was laughing, just laughing. He was like, where are you going, a little bit? And I say, away from here. I said, because evidently in this neck of the woods, I am not wanted. He laughs and he said, come on, I'll dance with you, like I was a charity case or something. So I was like, well, all right. I turned around and I said, well, alrighty now. He was a cutie pie. This man was just everything visually that I like. He was about 5'9", so not too tall. He wouldn't have to break his back to bend down to kiss my short ass. He had a beard. He was caramel complected. And if you know who the The movie star is Lorenz Tate. He kind of puts you in the mind of him. So he was right up my alley. So I was like, all right, I've struck gold now. So because I finally latched on to somebody who wanted to dance with me, I was not letting him go. So every dance when it tried to end, I said, you know how you gesture to him? Do you want to keep dancing? You want to, we done now? Excuse me. So we danced about 3 or 4 dances. Then I said, well, all right, now I'm leaving. So I go to, say, well, I'll see you. Thanks for the dance. And he was like, well, no, no. He said, we can hang out. Come stand by the bar. I'll buy you a drink. So as I was standing there, now, in these types of clubs, it's dark, but I could tell that he was a cutie pie. So I was like, okay, I'll talk to him for a little bit. And so we danced a couple more times. By that time, because I couldn't go back and sit at the booth because my friends have now moved their men in to the seats and it was nowhere for me to sit. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I am left to stand up. So around this time, I just said, well, okay, I'm gonna leave. And again, and so the little guy that I had met came back up to me, and he could clearly see this time that I was really leaving. So he was like, let me walk you out. So I was like, all right. He was like, because I want your number. So as we started walking towards where it was light and I could really get a good look at him, because just in the dark he was scoring high tens. I mean, he was cute. So I start walking towards the door and I'm sashaying because I gotta, we coming into the light now. I'm wiping all my grease off my face, making sure I'm powdered down. So when I turn around, I can hit him with plow. So we get out in the light and now we're out in the lobby. So when I turn around and look at him, I said, oh shit. And then I said, he's cute, but ooh, he look kind of young. So I stand there, we leaned up against the wall. He is cheese. And I said, okay, well, he see me in the light. This is going good. But, oh, God, he look really young. So around this time, I'm about 42. Yeah, about 42, maybe 41. So when I look at him, I said, he really looks young. So I said, but, you're trying to keep your game up just in case he is your age. So I said, by the way, baby, how old are you? He was like, 27. I said, oh, shit. And then I guess I actually said it because he was like, what's up? Are you older than me or something? And I said, yeah, just a little bit. And he was like, what you like, 30? I was like, no, keep going. He said, like 35. And then I said, keep going. He said, you like 40 or something? I said, child, I'm older than that. And he was like, well, how old are you? And I said, well, I am 42 years old. And I said, well, you know what? Thank you. This was nice. I appreciate it. You saved me in there. Look, I can't really do this. And so at the time, if I was 42, my son was 20. Okay, yeah, my son was 20. So if this boy was 27, he was just 7 years older than my son. Now I stood there, y'all. I was looking at him. I said, but God, how could you do this to me? Right here is the living epitome of what I've been looking for. Look at this man. I know he's 27, but look at him. So he stands there for a minute. He shrugged his shoulders. He said, well, it don't bother me if it don't bother you. So I was once again in my dilemma. I stood there. Now, he probably didn't know what was going on in my head, the inner turmoil that I was, going through. I said, well, he is legal. I said, he got that beard that I like. I said, his body is just like, oh my God, but it's because he's young and everything is still tight. And then he caught me looking at his little package. I must say, because I was checking him out and seeing what I could have had. So, and you could tell in this one I'm animated, y'all, because this little young man was nice looking. So I was standing there. I said, well, child, look, I'm on my journey. Remember, from every video I told you I had my whole card. So I said, well, you know what? Why not? So I said, okay, I'll give you my phone number. So we exchanged numbers, and I was like, well, before I leave here, I've got to kiss him. I've had a couple drinks, nothing strong, my little foo-foo, my Tom Collins that I stick by. So I said, and I'm on my whole game. So I said, can after I give you my number, because I figure, this is the youngin, I can be the older woman. So I said, well, after I give you my number, can I get something too? And he was like, playing. He was like, you can have anything you want. I said, I would just like a kiss right about now. So I didn't try to tongue him down, but I was definitely gonna kiss him. If I never saw him again, I could have this memory in my old age that I kissed this really, really, really cute 27-year-old. So I'm walking out to my car. I don't want him to walk me to the car because, he ain't geriatric. He might huck me up out in the parking lot and take what he want. So I was like, oh no, I got one of my friends out here. Thank you anyway for offering to walk me out to my car. So I'm walking to the car with some extra pep in my step. We have exchanged numbers. I said, now he might have just been being nice. After I told him I was damn near old enough to be his mother, and he's giving me his phone number, and the boy probably ain't gonna call me, but at least I got that kiss. So I go home just thinking, well, I've just spent the night with a 27, well, not spent the night, but spent the evening dancing my heart away with a 27-year-old. Got a little kiss, and I'm good. It was sweet. He still had nectar because he was a youngin'. So surprisingly, the next day, the little boy calls me. So, and I'm going to stop calling him a little boy because he definitely was a man. The young man calls me. I'm going to say not young. I'm just going to call him a man. The man calls me, and let me calm down because this story got me all aflutter because the memories of this one is a little dicey, y'all. So, and let me just give my disclaimer now. Yes, I dated this 27-year-old, but let me just finish. It's just really funny. So he calls me the next day. I'm happy. I'm happy. So I said, well, oh my gosh, this is him. So I pick up. He hear my daughter hollering all in the background. And so he says, well, you're sober now and I'm sober now. And I said, well, I wasn't drunk last night. I was in my right senses because I'm thinking to give you my phone number. Whew, I don't know what I was thinking. But I didn't say that to him. I said, but okay, so you're calling me now. And he said, well, like I told you last night, it doesn't bother me if it doesn't bother you. I said, well, let me just tell you some things first, and then I'm going to let you decide. Because in this situation, I think you need to be fully aware. I said, I'm not looking for any long-term relationship. I said, as a matter of fact, and I had to put this out there. I said, I have a son that's 7 years younger than what you are. And he was like, whew. He was like, well, how many kids do you have? I said, I have two. I said, at the time, if my son was 20, my son is actually 8 years older than my daughter. So my daughter was actually 12. So I said, and pretty much, he's not, going to be meeting you. So because I figured if my son saw him, he would be able to tell that this boy was just a little bit older than him, and my son would have had me committed. So I was like, now, let me just tell you, I said some things that I, would prefer. I said, we are quite a bit, there's quite a big difference in our age. I said, so, I don't want to, be hanging out. I was thinking at the Teeny Bopper Club or anything like that. I said, let's just keep this light and fun and just see where it goes. And, it's not, I just want you to know that I'm not trying to fall in love with you. I don't want you to think that I'm about to be this, what do they call them when you're older than them? This cougar that you're going to be choosing me for my money because I'm not stupid. I was just laying all this stuff out with him. You won't be driving my car. You won't be doing any of this. So he let me finish. He told me that had him a good job. He didn't need anything from me. but just my time. So I was like, well, okay. So, he asked that would I like to go out with him? And I said, yeah. And so, with him, of course, everything was athletic. So the time I went out with him, he took me to this little club in our downtown of the city that we lived in. It wasn't a teeny bopper club, thank God. Now, I must admit, at 42, and I think it's because I'm short and that I didn't really, I weighed a lot less, probably, I'm not even going to say how many pounds because that would tell you how much I weigh now, but I weighed a lot less than what I do now. So I could have passed for possibly his age because I didn't look old and I really didn't. But I knew what age I was and how much older I was than him. So I went down to the club with him. We danced. It was fun. You know, um, you know, he drove me to like a restaurant that stayed open really late. We went there. We had breakfast. I was like a Perkins or something. And we had a breakfast and we sat and talked. And I said, well, you know what? He's intelligent. He has a decent job. I can roll with this for just a little bit. This is fun. I'm just going to have fun with him. So we ended that date. All while I'm sitting there across the table, I'm thinking, he is cute. This boy is gorgeous. So, the date was over. No flim flam. He was dropping me off at the edge of the driveway because if my kids saw him, I'm telling you, y'all, they would have had me committed. My son, definitely. So the dates pretty much went like that. Again, I was only dating on the weekends when my kids were away. Or, they had gone to Cleveland to visit a relative in the summer, so it progressed like that for a little while. And this one is really short because there really wasn't too much to this. So we keep dating, and then one night, he says, we were at some place that we went. I think maybe we were at the restaurant and the dinner was over, and then we had gotten back in his car and it was time to drive me home. And he said, so we've been dating a few months now. And he was like, and I know you can't take me home. And he said, but can I take you home? And I wanted to grab the wheel and drive the car, sit on the slap and drive the car for him. I was like, I didn't want to say absolutely. I just said, well, of course you can. So, you know, he damn near peeled rubber out the restaurant. I was like, slow down, because I don't want to be dead. I want to get this. Let's drive safely now. Buckle up, And so we go to his apartment. I'm pleasantly surprised. I went in. I said, oh, he is a grown man. Okay, this is nice. Not people running around. He don't have roommates, and this is nice. When I went in, he only had one bedroom. It was really neat. When you walked in, it smelled good. It didn't smell like funky gym socks like my 21-year-olds. I said, okay, well, alrighty then. He is a grown up. He walked in. We sat down first and talked. Then he had a little wine. He said, would you like a glass of wine? I was like, yeah. I said, oh, these 27-year-olds nowadays are really grown up. So, I think it was awkward for both of us. So, after a while, he started kissing me and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is it. And then at this point, y'all, I'm talking to myself in my head. I said, oh, Rachel, you about to ravage some woman's son. And I said, well, what she don't know don't hurt her. But if she ever find out, she gonna kill me. Because that's how I would be about my son. Some old broad messing with him. So I said, well, you know what? He don't seem like he got a problem. Then I started worrying about, okay, now he's 27. He used to these girls with these perky boobs and all this stuff. I said, I'm not bad, but this is going to be a little different. I got 2 sections under my belt, and I got a little scar down there, and let's see how this boy handle all this. So it progressed to his bedroom, and, one thing led to another, and all I can say is he bent me up like a pretzel. I was like Lord, I'm gonna need some therapy after this. This is fun. So I'm really not gonna go in it. Just suffice it to say that after that, you know how they say old folks need Bengay. I needed some Bengay to oil up these old bones because I said he's just very energetic. So after that, I was embarrassed. I must say, I was embarrassed. Like after the date, and I went home the next morning and everything. I was like, what have I done? What have I done? And especially every time my son would walk through the house and I would look at him, I was like, my God, he's 7 years older than my son. Now, not saying that where I was thinking that this was going to be something long term. I just was like, I cannot be seen in public in any place that people know me, because as soon as he walks in with me, they're gonna know this is a baby. So I had this one girlfriend, and she had dated younger guys before. So one time he asked me, he was like, do you always go out? It was like I was going out too much for him. And I said, no, not really. But I didn't feel like him I could bring to my house. I don't know why, but because he was so young, I never really invited him over. Other than him picking me up, um, that was pretty much it. I think maybe I had a cookout in my backyard one time and invited him over, but he left early in the day. I basically told him that my kids were going to come back and he definitely couldn't be there. But that wasn't it, because remember, my kids were always gone for the weekend. But I didn't want him to think that he could spend a night. So I was, as I was dating him, I started talking to my friend who had dated younger guys. And I said, what do you do with this? And she just laughed and said, have fun with it. And I said, no, not that. I said, like, I'm kind of tired of going out to clubs. I said, I'm not bringing him to my house, and I feel a little weird going over his. And she was like, why? I said, I don't know. What if his family members come over there? And then she was like, well, Rochelle, first of all, you don't look like you're 42. You look like you're his age. She said, have you seen some of these 27-year-old, women? You don't look 42. So I said, but I didn't know. I just thought if I was over his house and one of his family members or like one of his buddies came over and they took a good look and say, she got an old lady body, even though I probably didn't, but this is all the things that I was thinking. So my girlfriend was like, well, you know what? She said, I'm going to have a card party next week, because I was telling her I couldn't think of any other places to go with him where I didn't feel funny because he was so young. So she was like, I'm going to have a card party and, bring him over. And in this way you can go. And she said, and I could check out your little youngin'. So I was like, that's a good idea, because it would get him around some friends. She's one of my friends that I feel comfortable, like telling her that this boy is only 27 years old. So we go to her card party and end up having a great time. He fits right in. Everybody's there. They're over 40. Um, the guys there, I was pretty nervous when you know how the women separate on one side of the room and they're all talking and pointing. It's like, girl, he is cute. I see why you ain't been around us. I was like, girl, look at him. We on the other side of the room. I was like, look at him. And the more they talk, I was thinking, oh, tonight it's going to just them talking about, because he was cute. I got to say that again. He was cute. So we were on one side of the room and they critiquing him. I said, don't he look good? You see his butt? We was like, guys. I said, girl, and his shoulders, and child, he done bit me up where I'm soaking in Epsom sauce every night, and I'm rubbing Bengay on my knees, oiling myself up like the Tin Man so I could be ready for his young ass. It was just funny. But in the meantime, he's on the other side of the room talking to the guys. So I'm wondering what they're saying. Like, so as even when I think about this, so it came a time when the women was like, and I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to tell you what our conversation was. So after we had critiqued him from every point of his body, from his tip of his hair to his feet, Then my girlfriend was like, I wonder what them motherfuckers over there saying to him. So I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So we came up with this thing. Me and my friends, we love to laugh. So they said, they were saying what they thought the men were saying. Oh, hey, young blood, you here with this vet? Man, you're getting some education. So we're just critiquing. And she said, like, as we talking, my friend was like, look, let's go over there and get him before they put something in his ear. You have a bad evening tonight. When he realized that, let's face it, this woman is 42. So she was like, girl, you better go over here and get him. So I said, well, no, let him. I said, because this is no thing. We just playing, and he knows it's playing. I said, she was like, girl, have you let him meet your kids? I said, are you crazy? I said, girl, my kids that have me committed. These are some encyclopedic. My kids are really, they're not the kids that I was when I was younger. They're very internet savvy. They were intelligent kids. As soon as he walked in, they would have been like, oh no, get her a straight jacket because we about to cart her off. I said, girl, he's not even been to my house but a few hand times. Mostly I just, as soon as I hear his car pull up, I run out. I don't even want my neighbors to see him. They was like, why? He is cute. I said, because he looks young. So eventually he comes over away from where the men are. These men are in their mid 40s, up to 50. And I think one of them was like 56. So when he comes back over and we all gather back in the middle, all the men are looking at me like, you bitch. Woo, even when I think about this now. Oh man. So I leave there that night and I said, well, the women expected, they accepted him, but the men were looking at me like, so I never knew what they told him. And we continued on dating. I dated him about 3 months. And then I one day just told him that this was awkward. And it's not that he was like, oh no, I really want to continue dating. He said, it's not awkward for me, but if you don't want to date me, I understand. And I was like, well, that went well. You're like, okay, well, this. And so what I did is I just chalked this up as an experience. I said, well, you know, I dated this young boy for, these few months. It was nice. I said, but, reality set in, and I said, I need to move on from this. It was an experience, but it was fun. And the reason why I call him Miss Rosa's boy is because one time I was out with him, and I guess we were near this, the side of town where his mother lived, and we were at a farmer's market. In Ohio, periodically, in the summer, they have those farmers markets that pop up. And I had wanted to go get some fruit. And while we were there, we must have seen one of his mother's friends and her husband. So the wife was like, hey, baby. And so her husband was like, who is that? She said, that's Miss Rosa's boy. You know, his name. And she said his name. I was thinking, oh God, please don't let them come over here. Because I felt like I was going to have a How Stella Got Her Groove back moment where you remember the scene where he takes her to meet his parents, and the mother sits her down and was like, you desperate bitch. What are you doing with this? I thought I was going to have one of those moments. But he just waved and he said, I'll be right back. Let me run over. That's my mother's friend or something. So I turned my back and got my little peaches and got my stuff bagged up and got the hell up out of there. But it was an experience, and that's the end of this one. So that was my experience with the youngin, Miss Rosa's boy. It was fun, and I'm still on my whole shit. I haven't calmed down now. Actually, this one kind of lit me up even more. So thank you for listening. And I know this one was all over the place. It was funny. And I bet you could hear me squirming in the background because this one was kind of embarrassing. I debated on whether to put this one in, but this is chronologically. This story I'm telling is chronological. Now, there were some other men between, these different ones that I actually am talking about, but these are the ones that were memorable to me. So you guys Thank you again for listening. Again, if you have any comments, questions, or you want to know anything more, because a lot of these stories I'm not telling everything. Again, my children know my YouTube. Um, you know that I have a YouTube channel, and I don't think they would come on it because, I'm their mom. What could I possibly have to talk about that would interest them? But on the off chance that they do, I don't want it to be too much. So, thank you again for listening. And if you have any questions or comments, or just need to tell me how much of a slut and, you know, cradle robber that I am, don't hesitate to leave it down in the comment section. Because as I told you in the last video, I stand firm in what I was doing. My testosterone was, fully out, and I'm just being a guy. Bye bye now.